My name's Frank Durr. I graduated in '79, and I was a sixth man on the team. And to this day, I still don't know how Coach Ashley put me in about 2 minutes first quarter. And I don't know who you picked out of these guys here, just put me in the ball because they never do nothing wrong. I know, but anyway, I was always looking forward to get in there about 2 minutes going to the last quarter because I sat on the first quarter. First quarter. I sat on the very end down there waiting for my name to get called.
Well, in the Grand Slam game, I already had 3 fouls by then. So
Well, that was the only way I got in the game. One of y'all fouled.
I had 3 fouls by the 2 minutes Grand Slam game.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Frank, you play more than you play all year.
That's right. I did. I guess I did. Yeah.
Now, after Coach Ashley said in the paper, if it hadn't been for you, we wouldn't have let that go well.
It had to be all of us. It was all of us.
Well, yeah, but
It was all of us.
I can't think of nobody.
It was a team, it was a team.
Couldn't let nobody out of that deal.
Well, that was the reason that we were hard to beat, because if one of us was having a bad night, the others just picked up the slack.
Yeah, right.
They had to defend all of us. It couldn't be a couple of players that they stopped the game stopped. So that's what made it so much fun.
And y'all were in a lot better shape than most of them was.
Yeah, well, some reason.
For some reason, yeah, I don't know why.
Tell them about that running.
Run a lot.
But I remember them saying that when we went out there, they were shutting Union County down because most everybody in Union County was coming down there. You know?
Yeah, it wasn't just Ingomar.
No, it wasn't just Ingomar. It was a lot of them. But some of them people probably come to see us get beat. We were surprised. That's right. There's a lot of people that I think back there in those years there, they just come watch and see if we was going to get beaten or not. You know? So,
Some of them put bets on us too.
that's right.
Or against us, just on the other team. And all
They didn't know what we knew, did they?
They didn't know how many free throws we shot here today. But we were ahead at the end of the game where they started fouling us. It was over with. We know.
This is a true story. We played, we all junior and senior, sophomore, 10th grade. At Fayette County, played Shaw. My sister taught at Shaw. She said they came back and said they were amazed with those Ingomar boys how they could play basketball.
Well, ain't that the one where you buried something about the free throw?
I had to go out. One night I was the goat. And the next night I was the hero. Because one night it was in the north half and we had already beat one team. No, Shaw was the team that put us in. We had to play as the third place team.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I went out with a 1-and-1 and I had to go out on the court by myself, and I missed. And the very next night, we got to play to go as the third place team. Very same situation occurred, and I made it. So
That was Tremont.
Tremont. That's it.
Well, you said GOAT, you know, GOAT now means something different.
That's
You was the greatest of all time.
We stopped knowing that.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it.
Yeah, Tremont, that was a fluke, Tremont beating us. Yeah, it was a fluke.
We should have won it all that year.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We should have, yeah.
Well, everybody that won, we beat them. You all did Pine Grove, who all.
Yeah.
I
We talked about it the other day.
I think Coach forgot to tell us we were supposed to win.
Yeah.
We were sure
Well, now
supposed to.
think about this now. I think we had a couple guys run heads together in that game.
That was a two.
I think that was early on.
I got hit.
No, it happened twice.
Yeah,
It happened in the
You
band
remember
tournament.
that?
I didn't know what happened.
I didn't know what happened.
It happened first in the state tournament.
Yeah.
Before it
10th
happened
grade year.
there.
About 3 minutes in the first quarter. I got
Yeah,
elbowed
I
side
remember
of the head.
that. I can't believe that.
Must not hurt y'all bad.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
He elbowed me. We didn't run head on. He elbowed accidentally. He came up with a loose ball and turned and went this way.
I do remember
And he hit
that.
right there.
I do
Yeah.
remember
And it
that.
turned the
Yeah, I do
lights
remember that.
And,
Well, Coach always said, put your elbow
well,
out.
he did, right?
Yeah. Shake like a wet
That's
dog. Shake like
I
a
forgot
wet
Diddy
dog.
don't get you on play.
Jay,
Yeah,
you
we
ought to
should've
remember that.
we should've won that
because
game.
You remember probably that summer or when we got back to school, you and I was sitting on the floor talking about we should have won.
Yeah, we should
If
have.
somebody got hurt, if we have to do it again, we'll do it ourselves. We just
Yeah.
ain't lose.
That's right, that's right, that's exactly right.
Well, I had a picture in the paper, you getting fouled on that last shot.
Oh,
That was the same year.
Yeah, Referee blew the call.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dead gum
Matt-
referee.
They came to the
Yeah,
floor and he was strong
Is
enough
that
to come
who
to
it
the
was?
down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He got on his shoulder and rode him.
yeah, I remember that picture being in the paper.
He nearly made a
Yeah.
shot with a shot over his back.
We should have won it 3 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And if y'all remember, that coach from Utica made a comment about James was too physical on that big old. You talking about James being too physical.
Right.
I had a lot of folks tell me you're too physical.
Well, hey, it was that leaper that he got on every day before practice.
right,
Y'all
that's
saw
right.
it, y'all
He
enjoyed
was,
that.
boy, and I always was mad about that with you, Coach, because he was the only one you didn't make do that. And I guess it was because he could jump, and all the rest of us could jump.
He grabbed his knee and back.
Yeah.
It's always back.
Yeah, yeah.
On the back.
He let him go sit in that hot tub every day.
Yeah, I'm surprised he don't still smell like
Yeah, we'd be out there
ice.
running, he'd be there in the hot tub.
Actually, I thought I was special
Yeah, like
because
it.
he had loosened me up. You don't know how special you made me think I was when you were doing that.
I do remember a lot of nights I carried you home after we got off the bus. I had to help you into the house.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally
Yeah.
did. It was that bad. I'd help him into the house.
It's still.
But you know that coach from Utica, he was right. We did play physical. We that was our. We were small, but if a referee, you could judge your referee within a minute or two
Oh, yeah.
of the tip off, and if you could tell if a referee would let you play, we would play.
Yeah.
And
We wanted.
So we
to
did
work
play
so much.
physical. He was correct.
Part of that though was because we
Yeah.
wanted so
yeah.
bad.
Well, we always played against older guys.
Yeah.
Play against older guys.
Thanks to
Beat
Marvin.
on you all the time.
Marvin and Peter and
Right.
Roy Cecil.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
was practice
And
every night.
gotta face it, guys, we weren't big guys, so we had to take advantage of any physicality we could, because we
Right.
gave up several inches inside every game.
They didn't call you Diesel for nothing.
They didn't look like block out like this guy blocked out.
Yeah.
He blocked you out. He blocked you out.
Yeah.
You knew
Right.
it. His butt would
Needed
stick
about-
out about that far.
I needed about 2 foot because I couldn't jump high enough.
Need a lot of space in there.
Running, he had to guard a man and a half, so he had to help out with James' man.
Yeah.
So James ain't gonna be in foul trouble. So he had to run, he taking James' foul.
You could blame Coach Faulkner for that. He told me one day, don't you foul out of the game. You might get them points back if you
He was right.
stay on the floor. So. The only time I did it was 5 offensive fouls.
Is that the night Louisville beat us?
That was Tupelo
Yeah.
at our place.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
it was Tupelo at our place.
Well, you got 3.
5 offensive
You got
fouls.
3 up there at my
Only two really, but they called 3 more.
That was our senior year, though. That was our
Was it senior year?
That was our
Yeah.
senior year.
Yeah,
Well, that was on the game. I
Sir
found
Mack,
out.
Yeah.
Joe Washington and all them
Yeah.
played.
Well, that Utica coach had worked with
Norwood.
referees too,
That's
because,
right.
we went down to Florida the first time, and I didn't even get a chance to foul anybody, and they called one on me. I should have known it was gonna be a long night.
You know, when we went to Tupelo, that's the game I fouled out with all offensive fouls. When was like Tupelo,
Yeah.
when they had to go to the hospital.
Right,
Hit head.
right.
When they hit heads, I fouled out with.
I didn't know you fouled out.
Yeah, fouled out. Troy Howe come in for me,
Five
That's right.
offensive
and they called a foul, 5 offensive fouls, and they called a foul on Troy. He wasn't in there a minute. Boy, I went out on that floor, guys, him.
Yeah.
Cause he slapped the floor, and I thought they were gonna call a technical.
Right, right.
I said, man, can't happen.
But you'd asked a question about what this is done for Union County, and I think it did a lot for Union County as far as the economy each year. Not only when we played, but how the sporting life in Union County affects our county. And when you think about all the games that people go to and went to back then, from the local grocery stores to New Albany, to the motels and and travel and everything, it generates a lot of economy. You know, the sporting part of Union, the basketball, football, baseball, and everything. So it's very important.
Yeah, I was reading a lot of those articles in the paper last night. I sat up, me and my wife Christy were going through a reading, and I was reading, but I didn't realize how many people from Union County came. You know, the little reception we had when we got back, because even I think it was Coach Childers and his wife brought Pat a bouquet of roses. Down there. And it said, you know, all the coaches and everybody from all the other county schools were there. And I didn't realize all those people were there.
I didn't either.
Yeah, well, it told how, I mean, you know, it said a number of like,
really?
I didn't realize a lot of them articles, the stuff that was in a lot of them articles, till I got to reading them last night.
Well, we played in a lot of packed out gymnasiums.
Oh,
Some of them wasn't very big,
Oh, yeah.
but
Like this, some of it was Ingomar, and a lot of them were getting.
Yep.
It wasn't nothing like talking that old wire thing, you had them water jugs sitting through all the different cracks.
I understand, I just put that squeeze ball in.
That's all. Lord, have mercy.
Y'all, I know y'all
Get
remember
rebuilt,
this.
do you?
Yeah, so
After we beat Tupelo, you know, we're supposed to play them again at home, and it snowed.
Yep.
And we all went in the office when Coach Ashley called, was it Hodges?
Yeah, Coach Hodges.
Yep.
We're gonna reschedule, and he told me he just didn't think he could,
Yeah, they didn't play us.
Yeah.
couldn't work it in.
Yeah, yeah.
But the team they played ended up beating them.
Really?
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah.
I think they played, they could either play us or Baldwin, and they wanted to play, he said, well, we'll play ball.
Them two
Baldwin.
Them two Coleman boys.
Yeah.
They were rough.
Yeah.
That was the first game I started.
after two.
That was the
That's
first
right.
game I started in,
That
because
was
that was
first
right
game.
after the
Y'all run the-
They were sitting down.
Yeah, they were sitting out.
You and Claudia Roberts.
That's the first game I got
Sure
started.
did.
Claudia.
Yeah.
I think I got 19 that night, I think.
Yeah, I remember we went over to Baldwin, played them two, I just always say we played them two Coleman boys, because I think that's about what they had.
Right.
But, you know, you scored like 40-something points or something.
Yeah.
And that was a little bitty gym too, you know,
Yeah.
that was that old.
You know,
old
we
gym.
beat them pretty good, like 22 points.
Yeah, it wasn't a close game.
But then they turned around and came to Ingomar, you know, it was a close game.
Right.
It was
Let me
close.
tell you the story on Jane on that ball one game, who brought it up. It's much closer than y'all remember it had been. It was a couple of points at the time different. Baldwin had a free throw to shoot 1-1. One of our players, might be the one was fouled out or something, caused a little delay in the game getting substituted in. We were out of timeout, so I looked out there at James while everybody had their back turned, he was doing this in the lane. Hold it, we need to wind up the court. I went another 2 or 3 minutes. That boy took that free throw, it was no damn way.
Stalled him out.
That's another trick he always taught us.
Yeah.
Reach down there and untie our shoes, you know, when we need a little break in there.
Yeah.
Say our shoe was untied and we had to retie our shoe in the lane, so that
And I'll never forget James, he was down there just short. He was standing in the middle of the lane doing this and this and this. And he was getting sweat on the floor, and he said, hold it, we got sweat on the floor.
Speaking of
I said, that
free
ball,
throws,
boy, I said,
you remember when you could line up on the baseline? When there was a free throw behind the guy and try to sneak in?
Did you come up with that?
I don't know, we
Did
were
you come
doing
up-
it, and Ted would get out there, and we'd always be talking, and the guy standing there, we'd be aggravating the guy all the time. And old, was it Pinson or Turner at North Pontotoc,
man.
took his gum out of his mouth and threw it in the face. I remember that. We laughed about that forever.
Turner.
James always started some crap with
I
it.
don't-
The worst
we
he picked
talk-
on was that Greer boy from West Houston.
Yeah, we wore him out.
You picked on the ones that it bothered. The
Right,
ones that
right.
it bothered, you get to it, you
Yeah.
pick on them. I don't know why I was thinking about this, and when you said North Pontotoc, you know, they were playing football. And I used to love the early part of the season when they first came back. You
Yeah.
talk about touch. They didn't ever have any. They would shoot bricks. They would shoot bricks. I mean, it was like they were throwing concrete blocks up there because they had no touch on it. Now later on in the season, they were harder to beat, but early in the season when they came off that football field and started playing basketball, it was.
Yeah.
Talking about
Yeah.
North Pontotoc, I remember one afternoon after practice, we was playing North Pontotoc that night. Coach Ashley called me over to the side and he said, look, said, I don't care if you score a point, but you know, that wasn't a big deal, because some nights I did. I was with him, I was with him.
You understood?
Yeah, I understood what he was talking about then. He said, but you got to find a way to stop here.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And I said, I'll do my best. You know, anyway, I turned around and started walking away from him. And he said, you know the best way to keep him from scoring, don't you? And I said, well, I don't know what he's talking about. And he said, just don't let him have the ball. He ain't gonna score without the ball.
Right.
So I remember every time they come down that floor for about 5 seconds is all, boy, I mean, he didn't like me for 5 seconds. And then they'd go back around the other side, you know, and I was kind of over with it. You know? But I'd have to spend 5 or 10 seconds to keep him from getting that ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I held him to about 26.
Enough from
I tell you, there was a lot of good teams we played.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good teams.
There was no breather.
No, how big it was.
How many times did we beat West Union that year? And every time the margin got bigger.
Yeah,
First of the season,
yeah.
it was really close first couple of games.
You never played in the state championship game.
Yeah,
They lost to Bovichet or they played up.
and I mean, every time we beat them a little more. Now, we broke their wheel, and they thought they could beat us the first few times, and after that, it just got to
You think about how many Union County trophies we knocked them out of.
Yeah.
Because they, you know, it was usually us and them in the end of any of them invitational tournaments.
Yeah.
And we beat them every time.
Yeah.
Then he had sub-district.
Yeah. I mean,
I think
They
we
were
won
good
19 tournaments in a row.
Yeah, they were good.
That's right.
They had-
19.
Well,
Yeah, 19 tournaments in a row.
That picture
That was
we
your
got.
senior year.
19
My junior,
on the
senior
Senior
year.
20.
Those two, yeah.
19 tournaments. in a
10.
row.
Lost to Gulfport.
10 right there on that.
First one.
Yeah, that's, the year after that, we won nine.
9.
Yeah.
110 that year.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's all you can win.
That's all you
Next
can
year.
win, right
That's
there.
it.
Yeah.
That's all you can win.
We won 9 and then win the last one.
Lost to Gulfport.
I have a question.
10-man rotation.
All right.
You said you made the comment that you wanted it more. I wanna know what made you want it more.
I don't know.
We didn't want to
Well,
let it.
I'll tell you where it started. And I don't know if Knox remember this or not, but I was in the 8th grade. I decided I was gonna quit basketball and go to work at Speedy Mart. I was gonna get a job at Speedy Mart for old Carter, you know, had a Speedy Mart. Y'all know where the Speedy Mart was. That's where we'd go get the Gazette every week. For 15 cents. That's how much it cost, because I got some of them in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Coach Ashley pulled me to the side. I told him I was gonna quit and go to work and everything, you know, and he said, well, you know, I just want to give you a couple of things to think about. And he said, you know, you got the whole rest of your life to work after you get out of school and stuff. But he said, more than that, he said, you got all these other guys out here counting on you.
Yeah.
He said, they're counting on you too. You know, so it ain't just about you. And I thought a lot about that. And of course, I didn't go to work at Speedy Mart. So, you know, and I think we were all like that. I think just like James said something a little while ago made me think about that. It was just, you know, like when Barry Mark went to the hospital that night, you know, we just all pulled together and done it, you know, it wasn't so much we done it for ourselves. I guarantee you can ask anybody, we had the least greediest team. We didn't care who scored. Didn't matter who scored, as long as we scored.
Very true.
And so, you know, I think we did it, a lot of it for each other, because we were so close, you know, and I think we did want it, but I mean, I think I wanted it as much for him as he wanted it for me. And I think that was, I think that was part of it. But it goes back to, you know, Coach Ashley telling me, he said, you know, these other guys, he said, it ain't just about you. He said, it's about these other guys too.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, we all had the opportunity that a lot of times in life you don't get. And, we all played for a great leader.
Exactly.
And you know,
Exactly what I
he
was
was,
wrong.
I'll say this, he was a good basketball coach, but he was a great leader.
Yeah.
And I have looked back in life over these 44 years and the picture of where he took us to from what we walked out on the floor with every night was, you know, that was leadership, because he made us want to do it, and that's what a leader does. He makes you, he gets all you can get out of it, and he did. And I don't know if you'll hold your hand up now, Coach. That finger's got to be shorter, because he would pull that jersey out, poke you in the chest over there all the time. Now, you got to have one short finger. When I was playing, I wasn't sure if it was fear or leadership. You know, afterwards, I realized it was leadership.
Little both. I quit too. Y'all probably don't know. I quit. I think it may have been 7th grade or something.
I had to go get you out of study.
He came and got me out of study hall. I never told you why I really quit.
You was going on his feet.
No, I wasn't that. Y'all will remember. You remember in junior high we didn't have all the same jerseys.
Yeah.
Some of them was faded. Some of them was faded out. The further down the line you were, the more it was faded out. So mine was faded all out.
I must not have had one.
It didn't even look like everybody else's jersey.
And that's why you quit.
That's why I was.
You know, I think I do remember
You might
that.
remember that.
remember that.
But he came and got me, and
They give you a new uniform?
no. I accepted the one I had. Decided I probably better try to do something, see if I can get one of those other ones. And I was actually motivated by that. So you did a good job.
Well,
giving me that older jersey. I was disappointed, but it all worked out. I think what you said about Coach. He manipulated us in every way. Being a coach, I wish I had all that touch. You know, I can remember at halftime, him say, y'all need to give everybody their money back. They came to see you play. Y'all should give them all their money back.
It was my senior year, and we were playing Potts Camp at Ingomar. I guess it was a district game. We were leading by 20 points at halftime.
Yeah.
And I believe we took one of the worst chewings that night. And we were ahead by 20.
Well, if y'all remember that night we beat Holta so bad.
Oh.
And he was hot. He come in there and me and Pete was sitting against the wall. And I seen him and I started easing over this way because I figured that clipboard was Boy, he got to go on. He said, somebody said, well, Coach, we won. He said, yeah, I know, but they scored. I forgot how many points they scored. He said, they scored that many points. They didn't make up, didn't play good defense. Now, that was one thing about Coach Atkin. Now, you played defense.
Am I the
You
only
did not
one
let
that
anybody
remembers?
drive the baseline.
Am I the only one that remembers him long snapping that folding chair at New Albany and hitting the wall back there?
Which time?
You know, we were way up there. They had to roll up bleachers
Right.
away.
Yeah.
And he long snapped that folding chair and it hit the wall. I can't even remember who the official were, but they stopped watching the ball game, looked over there to see what happened on the sideline, and he was just standing there without a chair. He'd thrown it between his legs.
The magic part about that is I had to go get the chair.
Everybody was looking at you too, wasn't
Oh,
they?
yeah. They wonder why I got the chair. Let me make a statement about this team first. Their junior year, when they won Grand Slam, they won the first 30 games. Lost to Boomville at Boomville. And I went in the dressing room and said, start another streak. And they won the next 47 games against Chupel and Horn Lake, Oxford, New Island was tough.
Yeah.
This is the best team. I'm going to go out on the limb and say this is the best team Union County will ever have when you use the word team. And everybody helped each other out. Like Ronnie said, and Chad, they made sure that their teammate did not lose.
Right.
They didn't worry about who scored the most points. I'll agree with that. But
You never would let us look at the scorebook.
You didn't need to. The scoreboard was for me. I wanna see who gets the most shots or who gets the most shots.
We know better than ask for that scoreboard.
No, it's been out of the scorebook, the scorebook, stats either one.
That's right.
Well, I've moved to Alabama and my family has become Alabama fans, and I paid Alabama for kids to go to school there, but, Nick Saban has a lot of leadership skills, and that scorebook, well, he would call that rat poison.
Right.
You know, that's what he says about, don't
Well,
read the paper,
Individual stats, you're done.
don't read the paper, don't do it, it's rat poison.
I'll always ask more about how many rebounds I get, how many assists did I have?
I like coach stats. James will tell you, he's a coach. Hustle stats, hustle, rebound and defense and steal.
Yep.
I remember Coach Ashley telling me one night, cause we was running a play or something, and I was setting a pick for you.
Mm-hmm.
And, he told me, he said, you know, and I don't remember exactly how he said it, you know, more or less said, you know, you're gonna get your butt knocked on the floor and all that kind of stuff. There's a big old boy guard, you know, you know, but you get over and do it, you know, cause he said, you won't get your name in the paper tomorrow and all that, James will get the points and all that kind of stuff. But, said people that really know about basketball and are watching will know that you had as much to do with that point as James.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
I remember that. And I'd run over there and you'd bring them big old boys around there. Holy cow.
I think one thing, that, you know, I've known y'all, and we've known each other for, 50 plus years, most of us. And that being said, another thing that made it a tight knit group was the friendships, on and off the court. And
Good point.
it's still.
Well, if you remember the long reason we let Frank go with us every
Yeah,
year.
because we're going his car.
We got somebody that last
Yeah,
night.
that big old car, you had that big old yellow.
You can go.
We're gonna let you go in your car.
We're gonna let you drive.
My mother never did know that. My mother will now.
I remember when we
That's all the way they let me go.
Yeah.
We'd go taste freeze up there, get one of them parfaits.
Parfaits,
Whatever it was.
Until Shoney's came.
Yeah.
It's a hot foot.
Yeah, we're gonna let you go.
If we go to the basketball game in Oxford.
I think one thing though that made our team was our practice. Our practices were grueling,
Yeah.
and we didn't play around with our practices.
Right.
I mean, coach made sure we didn't, but we worked hard, in our practices, and I think that's what really paid off for us. Down the road, it was a hard work.
You ain't talking about them times you take that lead basketball and keep it from them other 8 holes.
Yeah, I mean, it was always a disadvantage somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was gonna put us at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Or them little old rims he put up there on top that you had to
Yeah, we'll play with them for about 2 days.
Well, my spin on this is I had to find something to challenge y'all every day. I had to make up drills and read about John Wooden or somebody else. And it had to be a challenge. I had to make a schedule out of this, y'all. I didn't make a all class B schedule for the smallest school.
You did.
We took on Horn Lake and Oxford and Tupelo a few times, and y'all was always, y'all didn't play any softball games.
No, we didn't.
Y'all responded to it, so that's about it. And I made sure you got to the game on time, mostly.
Yeah, we never
We
worried about it.
left at certain times.
Mr. Cody always got us there, didn't he?
That's right.
That's my job.
Yeah.
I told you once we got there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Once the game started, I sat down and didn't do that. The year we won the state championship, the guys that worked at the motel told me, he said, Coach, I've been coming out there and watching y'all play. You hadn't used a timeout yet. In a state championship game, two in a row, you watched. And I forgot to use a timeout.
We never used
Yeah.
it.
I didn't say. What I'm gonna tell them? You did great.
I remember when our schedule came out, our junior year, that paper came out, did something on us. We was all around coaching, we had the schedule.
Yeah.
And they made reference to the point that he had the state championship dates and the Grand Slam dates.
Listed on the schedule.
Yeah. Nobody else would have done that.
Right.
I mean, because they weren't planning on going.
Yeah.
We were planning on going.
That's right.
And when the date was on our calendar, we're going. And,
Sure did.
They won the Grand Slam was in 1977 in the spring when we were going back up 55, heading back to Ingomar. And here goes Pine Grove, they go away to state. We were 3-0 against Pine Grove, they won state.
Yeah, yeah.
There was Gianni going down to Highway 55, they won state championship, y'all were 3-0 against them. I think Boom will finish
Boom
second.
finished second.
I think they did. So
Yeah.
that was what y'all had played, and you didn't lose to them.
Well, who was it that come up with that phrase, "you gotta believe"? You know, that's what they had them blue.
Coach
Was it
Jackson.
you? Coach Jackson? I never did know who.
In 1969, the Mets won the World Championship with a weak team. And had a game, the coach name was the singer that on
Tug McGraw.
Tug McGraw. His daddy was Tug McGraw, the singer, country singer, his daddy. And he started standing behind the man, he's a relief pitcher, he was standing behind him. And he came over that, you gotta believe. I said, I'm gonna file that away from 1969. So in 1978,
It
my
worked.
brother-in-law
Sure
came
did.
in, and I said, did they give me about 30 jerseys with "you gotta believe" with a basketball on it? Cause I got some boys that need to remember that.
I think they sold about 500 that year.
Yeah.
Everybody-
Or more.
So, quite a few hundred.
well, I got to looking last night. What do you think our average points we won by on this team was?
It wasn't as big as y'all thought.
I bet it
It'd be pretty close.
No.
5,
23.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
we
I
averaged
figured
beat
it's
people
20.
by 23
Really?
points a game.
We laid into some of them folks, man, we didn't have.
Now, I mean, we scored over almost 1,000 more points than our
Really?
opponents did.
I'm surprised.
I
But
believe
we had some close
But now,
games.
coach was gonna take it easy on the Hulk, if you remember we went over there and beat her, and he done everything for us not to do it. He took all of us out.
Yeah,
Halftime, we were done, but Solly Robertson, all of them, they still beat the all right of them. So then they came, you remember, and they were gonna hold the ball.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were gonna hold the ball the whole game.
Yeah.
And Coach actually just kind of turned us loose, and I think we beat them like 70-something points.
Yeah, that story was, we had to go back to Hug at the play. Coach McDonald called me up and said, we ain't playing your main team. We played B team. So we carried the B team, and y'all had to just call us for the game, and you said be in close. And y'all wonder why y'all didn't play. Coach McDonald said, we ain't playing the varsity. I'll play my varsity against your JV team. And I said, well, we did. We played the JV and beat the snot out of them again.
I remember pretty well that if we played a team and they played y'all close, you turn around and played them again, that next game, they weren't
did.
going down. It
Yeah,
wasn't
they
no
always
big
went
one. One shot,
Well,
that's
that may have
it.
been our senior year. That was our senior year.
Is that the year we won the New Albany ball game after the buzzer? You made the free throw and then.
Actually, it was 4 seconds left.
Okay.
4 seconds left. We're up 5 with 22 seconds to go, and they had the ball, and Troy intentionally fouled, and they missed both free throws.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, you was talking about challenging, you had to make up things challenging, and I remember him talking about James didn't do the leaper and that, but I do remember. I don't know why I was thinking about this, but you had to make up that weighted vest and then benches. You know, cause James would kick them benches over,
Yeah.
he'd fall across them benches and do that, and that's the reason he didn't do the leaper. That's why he wasn't doing that.
Keep from doing that.
Yeah, but
Accidentally on purpose.
accidentally on purpose. I remember
still
jumping
one of
them
the best
benches and I
things you
think,
can do.
what is
Jump
he
that
got
bench.
us doing, jumping those benches with that weighted
Yeah,
vest?
but we increase your vertical jump at least that much, right?
Probably 2 inches shorter from that vest pounding you down.
You know, you started that holdback program with all of us, where we all stayed back.
Take your 9th grade courses in
Yeah.
your grade.
Yeah.
What? how did you get that going and why, you know?
Well,
what
these
you
two
see
things
in all
I do
of
with
us?
it. I've been playing independent basketball with Ronnie's brother. And so I had a chance to talk to her, his daddy on the quite often. I said, I got this new program coming back. If you stay back a year, take 2 ninth grade courses, and still be an 8th grader. I said, what about Ronnie staying back? He said, yeah, Ronnie stay back. So, first day of school, I'll never forget that. First day of school, I went in there. I told Barry the same thing. I went in there and I saw Ronnie. I said, oh, praise the Lord. Then I looked over, sitting there, it was Barry. I said, man, we got something going.
Barry wasn't gonna do it till the last minute.
No, I ain't second thoughts.
Barry had second thoughts, but Ronnie was,
Yeah, he was.
Boy, ain't you glad you did it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were 2 years, I mean, we were 19 when we graduated. Everybody else was graduating at 17.
y'all in the shape.
Yeah, I mean. you
I
know,
was
we-
18.
I was
like,
like-
Yeah,
I
you
was
were
18.
18.
I was 18.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I was
exactly.
young.
Y'all remember Barry
But probably
getting a
benefited
little
the
five
most.
over, and I think it was during the final game of the Grand Slam. It might have been in state, but right at the very beginning of the game, you got 2 or 3 fouls off back. He told me, he said, boy, I'm trying.
I remember that.
What happened was, and I had a temper, I did, but I stole, we were playing Boca Chica in the state championship, and I stole the ball from, boy, they had this hot shot guard, and I thought, I'm gonna get this ball. And I did, I stole it from him just as clean and called a foul on him. Well, I bounced that basketball back to the top of that Mississippi Coliseum. Needless to say, I got to go sit down. But you know, we're talking about that Grand Slam game. I don't know how the other guys looked at that Grand Slam, but looking back on it, I realized what a big deal it was for us to win that, a Class 1A school. But looking back on it, I didn't look at the Grand Slam or the state championship any different than I did a game against Hooker or Pikes County. It was just another game.
Yeah.
And I
And we
think
were going to win.
there wasn't a lot of, there wasn't, the pressure wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was just, let's go play another game. It was, we had fun.
Right,
And
right.
that's,
I'll never forget, we was on that bus. We was going down 55 interstate. And we was going back to the Grand Slam. And you were sitting on one side and I was sitting on the other. And we went around that curve and you could see that Coliseum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where you told me, we're gonna get this thing. We're gonna get this gold ball.
Yeah.
Damn, you don't tell me.
I couldn't,
I'm stressed out 2 days.
You told us in the dressing room at halftime we was behind, right? Wasn't we behind
I think
the
so.
final game of the
Yeah.
Grand Slam about
Yeah.
5 points?
Right.
And Coach Hess come in there and I remember he said, guys, I really think it meant for us to win.
Yeah.
I thought, well, all right, you know,
What we gonna do?
I won't never forget him saying that. He said, I really think it was meant for us to win.
Yeah, I really want
I wouldn't dare want us to get together without me sharing this, because y'all meant a lot to me in my life. As 44 years, I've looked back a lot of times at things y'all did, and I don't know how, but you know, God can use anybody.
Right.
And I don't know how or why, but y'all appointed me to say the prayer. And you know, I've thought a lot about that, and y'all held me to that, of praying as a group. And I remember one night he was hollering for us to come out there. We were playing, and it was time for us to come in. He had done sent Jeff, I think, back there to come get us.
Yeah.
And I remember James saying, we ain't going out there if we pray. I don't
Yeah.
care who's hollering.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell y'all, that has meant a lot to me, and that just, you know, I started my walk a lot earlier in life than I would have if it hadn't been for y'all, and I think God blessed us and gave us a good fulfillment in life of the winning the tournament and being able to enjoy each other and winning those games and just the fellowship of life. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was such a blessing then, and it has continued to bless me the rest of my life too.
I second that motion.
Yeah,
for sure.
everybody second that. I want you alive nearly. Other than when your kids are born.
you know, we're talking about playing against stronger players. We grew up playing against people like John Stroud, Ronnie Childers, Bonnie Wayne Coleman from East Union,
Right.
other really good players. And y'all, I don't think y'all's class got beat as bad running. I remember our class, we would get beat 30 or 40 points
We was
a
in the
game.
10th grade, we was getting,
Well,
we was
we were
getting our
getting-
tails
yeah.
handed to us. you
But
know.
we got stronger, and we gained a little confidence. Hey, we can play with these guys. But boy, it certainly didn't start out real well for us when we stayed back. did it?
Our ninth grade year, we went 19 and 16. That was
Well, that's our 10th grade year.
Yeah, what you
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about? And I remember first year, Coach Ashley said, well, we win 20 games, we have a good year, and we won 19. And, but I remember another thing he told me. He brought his whole team together, and I guess we had what, 4 or 5 seniors on that team that year. And he told them, he said, tell you seniors, if these 9th and 10th graders push y'all, you ain't gonna see a lot of playing time this year. I'm sorry, you're not gonna see it.
Yeah.
And we started 2 9th graders, 10th grader, and 2 seniors.
Did you start all 4 years?
You did.
We was playing.
No, I did.
You played a lot in the 9th grade if you did.
Cause I couldn't ever remember playing JV ball when we
No, he
played.
didn't play, he played, he didn't play once we got to the 9th grade, he started.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I know it started in 10.
Yeah.
I think you played a lot in the 9th.
I did. I played when Ken Island and all that. But that's when
I was
First
married
started
to that.
playing.
Yeah.
Only about to get to the game. I told her some water too,
You're right, me and that old 56 year lady,
That's
that's
right.
until we got the windshield busted out.
Yeah.
No, we won 19, we went 19 and 16. Then the next year we were 34 and 6, 44 and 1, and then we finished 43 and 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a lot of games.
Yeah, but when people can't believe we played that many back then.
But you know, I was looking. Y'all may have looked at some of those videos too, and this is pretty remarkable. The women's teams, the 1958 to like 1962, those teams won 3 Grand Slams,
That's
and they were
great.
playing like 54 games
Yeah.
per year.
Yeah.
And that was pretty. I mean, what we did is pretty,
Yeah.
impressive too. But for them to
Played
win
10 more games and won 3
and
in a
won
row.
3
3 out of 4 years.
3 out of 4 years,
Uh-huh.
pretty impressive.
Well, I still think we could have won it my junior year, y'all sophomore year.
Yeah.
And I think we could have won the whole thing, 'cause I remember the team that New Albany, New Albany played in the finals of the
That's right.
Grand Slam.
That's right.
Lake Florence.
Yep.
And, had Greg Green and I ain't sure we couldn't have beat them.
Right.
Well, New Albany, they were right there with them and we beat New Albany how many times that year?
Every time we played.
3
I don't
times.
think we never lost.
Yeah,
No,
I ain't never
The
lost.
only time we lost to them was one game of baseball. Only played them once. That was the only time from junior high on?
In junior high, we won 2 games in our seventh grade year, and we beat New Albany. We beat New Albany and South Ponto.
Yeah.
Then the next year, we lost 1 game, won the county tournament. Then our last eighth grade year, that was the first year they had that 5 county
Right.
junior high
That's right.
tournament. We went over there and we won it.
Yeah.
So it was coming along, just took us all a while to get there.
Well, I remember sitting over on the bench and watching them guys that we had beat win.
Yeah, that was
That was
not
hard.
good. Yeah,
That's
it
awful.
was.
hard.
That's awful.
And I think that's, made me a lot more determined, because I seen that, we could do that.
Right.
We were supposed to do that. So the next year, I don't know how y'all feel about it or how you felt about it. There never was a doubt in my mind.
Right.
I mean, I don't think it was yours either.
No.
I don't think.
And I've thought about a lot of those games that were really close with a couple of minutes to go and, where it's just really close game. And I think about those and there wasn't ever any doubt. We were gonna figure out some way to win.
We know we was gonna hit them free throws.
And I don't think you mean that in an arrogant way.
No.
But I never felt that way, but I felt the same way. I mean, it wasn't a doubt.
I never got scared.
We just thought.
Y'all were gonna do something.
Hey, you know,
I ain't gonna win a money.
you got the little cassette tape where, you know, they announced the ball game and all, and with 2 minutes and something to go, one of them announcers, you know, there was 2 announcers on there, and one of them said swords and dirt at half court, celebrate.
Yeah.
And you know, and one of the other guys said, you know, said they may not know there's a lot of basketball left in this ball game. You know, they're celebrating like it's already over and everything. Well, I got a picture over there. Me and Frank were hugging at half court, and that was the hug that guy was talking about. But it's like I told Frank, I said, you know, they didn't know what we knew.
Yeah.
If we ever got in that passing that ball in the fourth
It-
quarter,
it
was over.
The ball game was over right
It was
there.
over.
They didn't know
They
it.
didn't know.
You know,
Right.
but there were 6 guys or 7
Yeah.
right? There was, you know, a few people in that Coliseum that knew it was
Well,
over.
how many would he put out there in practice for
8.
trying to get that
However
ball
many
from
he had.
us one way or
That lead
another?
ball, the one you couldn't bounce.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But yeah, when we got in,
Yeah.
when we got in that deal right there, like I said, you know, me and Frank knew it was over.
Yeah.
Them announcers didn't, but we didn't.
You know, the teams that give us trouble was guys that coach like he did. I mean, that had
Yeah, had
Myrtle in that year, our year.
Yeah.
Myrtle played us to 2 or 3 points twice.
Yeah.
And I think Coach Thomas and Coach Ashley were kind of cut out of that same cloth.
Yeah, we brought it in.
And the teams that coached or were taught like that he taught us, gave us problems.
You know, I was thinking the other day, I thought after I found out we were all coming here and everything, I got to thinking about living somewhere in Union County, playing for one of them other schools. Man, I'd hate to play that.
That's what he
Wasn't
said.
we blessed to be in this school district?
Y'all, I don't know, y'all remember before we played in the Grand Slam, he was in, he never gave a lot of speeches before, he wasn't a motivational speaker, he wasn't. We all knew our job and we knew what we were supposed to do. And we knew if we did that, everything was gonna be fine. But I remember him saying, right before we went out, he said, I'd hate to be in that other dressing room right now.
Yeah.
And man, that went through me. Yeah. I know, look out.
Exactly. But I remember I just remember looking at that clock a bunch of time that fourth quarter, it was about 2 minutes, and if we were tied or had the ball, I mean, if we was right there with 2 minutes,
Yeah.
I never had a doubt, because I knew he was gonna tell us what to do.
Well, we didn't turn it over.
No, we
Made
never
free
turned the
throws.
ball.
We figured out how to make them turn it over,
Right.
that was different in the game.
That's why I have a hard time watching these today. It's like, turn it over.
Oh, they'll throw it out.
Yeah, that 3-point shot when y'all played.
That's right.
They had y'all average another 15 points a game.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, Ted, when we got within 100 foot of the goal.
His shot when he come across the
Yeah,
court
I was
line.
thinking about Coach Ashley last night, because he was real polite, polite, and, but he was, I mean, we were playing in the state tournament, and I don't remember if it was a Grand Slam, and what, because you know, I have on and off nights. And I remember I fired one up from the corner, and I hit the rim, but
But you had somebody to rebound.
I made sure James.
Good shot, wasn't
James
it?
was on the other side. Good shot, I just missed it. But I remember Coach Ashley, and he was real nice about doing it, because I guess he didn't want to get me discouraged or something. He said, you know, it might not be the night. What he was saying, don't shoot no more.
Yeah. Nice for the
Put it in your pocket, pass it.
You're wide open for a reason.
Ted was more of the Earl of Pearl Monroe type player. Ted could shoot the ball from down here
yeah.
and make a shot.
Yeah.
He could throw it from the floor and make it.
Well, I remember Coach Ashley getting on to me one time in practice. We were just out there, everybody was shooting, and I was throwing it behind my head and doing everything. And he said, why don't you shoot some shots like you're going to shoot the game? And I thought, well, half of these is. That's
what you were.
I had the ball swatted away so many times.
It had to be a surprise.
I hold you back.
Just think of what he'd been if you had held him back so much.
Yeah, might have won a state championship.
Well, I introduced myself, y'all ain't
No,
told who
That's
y'all
true,
are
yeah,
yet.
that's true.
Yeah.
I'm James Green.
I'm Billy Cook. I was a manager for 3 years, and then the other years, that's kind of like the bolts you have left over when you rebuild a car bolt. They're doing other stuff.
Oh, wait. I'm Mark Buskirk. I played guard, I guess, if you say we had a guard.
Point guard,
Yeah,
point guard.
and graduated in '79.
I'm Barry Kidd. I graduated in 1978, and I was the point guard.
Well, I'm Ronnie Hall, and I graduated in 1978, and I was a forward. I guess that's what you'd call it. I played all over the place.
I'm Ted Swords. I graduated in 1978, and I was a wing like Mark, where I played, position I played.
Who jumped center? The guy that never
Yeah.
did the jumping
Yeah, the
thing?
guy that never got
They
out
didn't do the labor.
I think 6'2" center.
Yeah,
That's right.
towering
I-
6'2"
Yes,
center. I think 6'2" was a stretch.
Yeah.
That was with his hair.
He was
exactly.
He was 6'1", and I was 6 foot.
I tell you what I remember about James, though. James, the first game I think you ever may have played in was against West Union and John Stroud. And James scored 20. You scored 24 points, I believe, against John Stroud
Yeah.
in your first start.
Dale and Gail Manning
Yeah.
Ours high school.
Giants.
Giants. Giants in high school
Yeah.
basketball league.
Yeah.
and they were 6'3", 6'4" that team then.
Yeah. Oh,
We
yeah.
were averaging about 5'7".
Yeah.
I'm Jeff Dowdy, and I was
saying.
manager, and I graduated in 1978. Of course, I didn't get started with this bunch until my junior year. When I first, did you come to the stay home and get me or something, or how? I can't remember how that all took place.
I usually recruited my manager too.
Probably on the road down there in Lone Star somewhere. But what Ronnie was saying about it changing your life, these guys changed everything for me. Staying back, what Coach Ashley did coming to get me out of the study hall. My sister played, so I was already into basketball, but baseball was probably my first love. I remember Coach saying one day I might pitch in the majors. I never got close to that.
My baseball career
Good
was
pitch in high
limited.
school, very much. Probably all three of those guys, I think at some point, was behind the plate trying to catch all the dirt balls I was throwing.
It was bad.
Being a coach, I probably wouldn't be a coach if it wasn't for Coach Ashley. And I owe so much. Coach Ashley, Coach Faulkner, Coach Knight, so many people in the community at Ingomar. Go to camps. Sometimes I didn't have all the money to get to camps. There was always ways for me to be able to do things, and probably led to me being able to go to college on scholarship and get into coaching. And these guys have all had that influence, and I see people all the time throughout the state that talk about seeing this team. And,
Me too, James, me too.
It's amazing
Still do.
how much that means to you.
When people ask, I introduce myself and they say, well, I live in Union County. Well, where do you live exactly? I say, well, Ingomar. Oh, yeah, I heard of y'all. Y'all used to do basketball and play school. I said,
Yeah.
that was us.
Yeah, that was one of the favorite things.
Yeah.
When I came to Ingomar, right over the Union County line was Pontotoc, and they were always good girls, and Ingomar was good girls. None of the teams were where the crowds were boys.
That's right.
I thought I wanted to do something like that.
You did.
I want to start emphasizing boys basketball as well as girls basketball. And I think over the years we've proved that we can do both.
Yes, sir.
We didn't look at ourselves that way, but we were really talking about the community. We were looked at as like 16, 17, 18-year-old heroes.
Right.
You know, we were the hometown heroes. We were doing, and I never will forget when we went. I don't remember if it was for the state tournament of the Grand Slam. The Jackson Clare Ledger, sports section headline was the Cinderella team. That's what they called it.
Yeah.
Cinderella team, and all of those things. When you look, it meant a little bit then.
Right.
You didn't really want to get called Cinderella when you're 17 years old, but it meant a lot as you went forward to understand where you were really coming from, because of, we were about as ragtag as we were in Little League baseball, riding in the back of a pickup.
I remember trying to keep everybody off floor tonight. We wanted,
Oh, yeah,
boy, that
they-
made them mad down there because all the people was on the
At the
floor.
Coliseum.
Yeah.
Sir.
But it didn't matter.
It didn't
Hey,
matter.
listen here,
Every time.
I got a picture over there. That me and Coach Ashley picked up on everybody's shoulder.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I remember somebody, and Coach Ashley had his arm around me, and I remember somebody saying, y'all gotta leave so everybody go to sleep. I remember saying, and they said sleep. And I remember Coach Ashley turned and looked at me and he said, "Who's gonna sleep tonight?" that was the night of the Grand Slam. And he said, "Well, who's gonna sleep tonight?"
Did they have you picked up too?
I got a picture of it.
Oh,
I see a
yeah.
picture of it.
That's because they had such a grip on that ball, he just went up with it.
No, that was on the front page of the Clarion Ledger.
Probably was. I got a big picture of
I've
it.
got,
right there.
I've got
We
the
don't
front
want
page
to do
frame. Yeah.
I think there were like 6,000 people at that game.
Yeah.
The Coliseum was full.
Yeah, pretty full.
Pretty cool.
And,
That's like I said, they shut Union County down that night. Last one to leave, cut the lights off.
That's the last one, yeah.
Mhm.
But, we're talking about community and what it did for the community. I remember, being a few minutes late getting to a game, you just had to elbow your way through the lobby to get to the dressing room or get out on the court to do what we needed to do. And Mark said something to his son I've always thought about. You and Jim were passing the country club one night and been talking about basketball. Talking about Oaks Country Club on Highway 15 South. Mark said, well, a lot of folks used to have to walk from here just to watch us.
Sound like something.
I always think
But a straight
He
face.
was a kid.
I remember playing at WP Daniel, there on Central, and that's a pretty big gym
Right.
for this area. And we would have to literally push people aside to get out of the dressing room
Get on the
to
court.
get on the court.
Yeah.
And you couldn't have got another person.
No, yeah.
And it wasn't just that gym, but it was in a way.
I've seen a picture, they had somebody standing up in the windows of it. Go look at the windows.
Yeah. But that's what I was alluding to earlier about what that did for our economy back then. But when you got that many people going and spending and doing this and doing that, it really did. It generated a lot for, and it wasn't just Ingomar, it was East Union, West Union, it was everybody.
Lots of
Right.
excitement.
It was a lot of excitement.
I remember me and James were sitting in the motel room before one of the games at the state tournament down in Jackson. We were sitting up there looking out the window at the parking lot. Mr. Perry Cobb.
Yeah. Yeah,
Remember that?
absolutely.
Said I didn't even know he ever went to a basketball game.
Right.
And there he was at Jackson. Done drove to Jackson, and Jackson was a long way then.
Yeah, right.
And all them people, different people we saw, we never even knew went to a basketball game, and there they showed up.
Right.
Well, that's like, the tape that we got made. That tape originated from Bobby Joe McMillan. I don't know how many of y'all know Bobby Joe McMillan. He's
I
got
know.
the big radio tower
Yeah.
down Ingomar Road. As far as I know, Bobby Joe McMillan never came to a basketball game.
Never.
But he was interested in that enough to, make that tape.
Yeah.
And if he hadn't have done that,
I
and
didn't
had the
know where it
foresight, we wouldn't have that. I just wish someone would have gotten their movie camera out and videoed the game.
Is there any tapes of us?
One, Tupelo. Where y'all were sitting at the hospital.
That's right.
Hodges videoed that
game.
game. That's the one that I know of my senior year that was videoed.
Where would that be?
I don't know.
I figured Tupelo had it. Well, there's gotta be one, cause we played them the year before.
Yeah.
I bet they filmed it.
I bet
Did we
you.
play
No, we didn't play them the year before, we played them my senior year, the first year we played.
And y'all played them the next year.
And they did tape it, cause I played independent ball against Hodges, and a year or so later, and I asked him about that, and he said, yeah, he had that tape.
Yeah.
He was,
I
Seemed
wonder
like
if
we
could get-
filmed some, we played, we must have just got a camera or somebody.
I think
playing
Tracy
with it.
filmed
There was-
some, but I don't know what.
There
he
was
did.
somebody we played against, it wasn't a big game, close game, but we filmed, there's one or two out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Well,
We
Well, they
watched it.
probably realized after we won the Grand Slam that no one had video,
Yeah.
and then y'all senior year, they said, well, let's do a little
No,
video.
there's one of
Yeah.
us. There's one of our teams somewhere. I can't remember who we played, but it's
So
out
if y'all
there.
find it, I'd do a lot of
I
this.
know there was one native too.
Yeah.
That game.
Love to see it.
Well, Coach, I don't know if you remember or not, one time later on in the year after we got through playing basketball, you asked me what I was gonna do, and I said I didn't really know what I was gonna do. I didn't wanna run a bulldozer, I did tell you that. I've never said that. I've been doing that my whole life. And you said you ought to go into engineering school, and I didn't have any idea what engineering school was, so, but I took your advice, and that's what I did, and I made a career out of that. So, you know, you influenced me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I applaud you for doing it.
He knew,
Well, you
Coach
were-
Ashley knew a lot about music. You know, he knew a lot about his song.
Yeah.
And his favorite song, when we got on the bus, each night was Sound of Silence. And when you got on that bus, especially if you lost the game, you better be silent, and you for sure had better not pop any gum.
Yeah.
Oh, he got me one eye on that gun, Bob.
Sound of Silence.
Right there.
Brother, you remember
No,
this.
I was not Sound of Silence. Silence is golden. Silence is golden. I'm
Remember
sorry.
us doing the state tournament, I think it may have been your junior year, our sophomore year. We're at IHOP,
Oh.
and we decided we were gonna eat us a bunch of food.
I was thinking about the
He
I
said,
can't wait till y'all start paying your own bills.
yeah, y'all better get some good jobs, because I guess I'm going to tell you to go to engineering
No,
school.
I think we all can eat all right. Yeah, we all did okay.
We ate 2 stacks of
Yeah.
pancakes and about 6 eggs apiece, you know, we
So
cleaned them out.
the mistake he made, he came by and told us, now don't y'all be careful how much you get, don't get too much.
Yeah.
That was a mistake. That was a mistake.
I thought about that a whole bunch of times. I wasn't gonna bring it up. I'm gonna get mad.
Yeah, no, it was for
He
real.
brought the parents into it. He said, some of y'all parents is in trouble feeding y'all. I'll never forget.
We ate at the IHOP and the
Piccadilly.
Piccadilly.
I still eat at that Piccadilly sometimes. I think about it every time I go.
Every meal.
We did when I put finish up there, we still do it.
Yeah.
But I think because, you know, we won the Grand Slam, I think we were the first team to have won the Grand Slam since 1969. I think New Site won it.
That's right.
I think that's right. But I think by us winning it, I think it set a precedence for classes coming up that thought, well, if those guys can win the Grand Slam, we can certainly win the state championship, you know. And so I think it instilled a lot of confidence in the teams coming up.
Cause we didn't really look like a real great basketball team that's walking around.
Well, that's how we won some games. They looked down there at us before the game started. Just knew they were gonna win that
Did you
game.
see them playing?
I can remember Jeff Norwood talking about that when we played him at Timberville.
Yeah,
You know, that worked.
the north half of the state had not won the Grand Slam in forever.
Yeah, yeah.
No, he wasn't. If you'd put us in a room of 100 folks, we probably wouldn't have been the basketball team you would have come. You'd have picked
You'd have
out and
picked
said,
out.
"This is the guy that I want right here."
Probably the least likely
Yeah, I
would have
guarantee
picked
you.
out.
Yeah, we wouldn't.
You know, I think the other thing was going to camp when you started sending us to Delta State.
Yeah.
Camp was
Oh, yeah.
it made us bond a lot more than just doing that.
We won't talk about the trip me and Buskirk made in Vega. We won't talk about that
Oh,
trip.
man. Man, I don't talk about
You
it.
remember when I Mark's dad bought him a brand new little Chevrolet
Tan,
Vega?
tan.
right in front of the gym, and I went out there and got my big old green pickup. The first day he had it, and I backed into it at the door. It was brand new.
Yeah.
Brand new. And I remember, because y'all were still in there, I was leaving early, go do something, and I come back in there, I told Mark, I said, I bet the door won't be He's like, oh, well, yeah, all right. First day ever go to school. Yeah, I remember, we'd have to go town, ride around there for that bit door. And we went to Delta State in it that year.
That's right.
John didn't have no air conditioning.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We didn't get no air
Y'all
conditioning.
remember, do y'all remember those mosquitoes that backed all camp over there in Delta State? There was mosquitoes that told you off over there at night.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
No, you talking about going to the Piccadilly. I remember Coach Adley, he'd let us, we'd get there earlier, I don't know, before, probably after we ate. And he'd give us time to walk around in the mall. And I remember he'd tell us, y'all wearing those shirts that say Ingomar, remember who you represent.
Yeah.
And that always hit me.
Seen after each other too, we,
Yeah.
we didn't drink, didn't do smoke,
Yeah.
didn't,
Yeah.
think about it, none of us.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that basketball.
Yep.
Did it all.
Well, like you said earlier, you always, I wasn't gonna get in trouble because I couldn't look y'all in the eye.
Didn't want to let you down.
Right.
I couldn't look him in the eye, surely.
We made him because at that time, to me, he looked about 7'2".
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
I remember him telling one time, he said, I always wanted to coach a team that I had to look up to. But he got us instead.
Only if he was sitting down.
Only thing we could do was get him a chair.
Well, I was like y'all, he'd come out of that dressing room with them little old rims to put on. I hated them.
Yeah.
But I couldn't shoot real
We
good.
don't see it going in.
We wasn't gonna get no water because we had to make so many free throws with them up there.
I know. But I tell you what it did help us do. It helped us win a bunch of them teddy bears at the Memphis Fair.
No question.
You remember they shut us off?
Made us leave.
Made us leave.
Yes, right.
Wouldn't let us shoot no more.
Like, you want one?
Yeah,
Come on, I
thank
can.
Yeah, we said everybody want a teddy bear tonight.
They would pay us to go over and shoot. Give me a teddy bear, okay? Here's the money.
And the guy finally
Yeah,
did.
he said, y'all got to go. Y'all got to leave.
Yeah, he changed balls on us. He
Yeah,
changed
changed
balls.
balls,
Some of them be warped.
It didn't matter.
I think we him off the back up by He still weighs all yard.
Y'all know that y'all out here.
Wouldn't let us come.
I told all of our guys how all y'all could shoot those free throws. I can't believe we can't make free throws. I played with a bunch of guys. Everybody could make free throws.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. Y'all,
You
I
tell them
shot.
to make 25 in a row before they leave, they'll be there all day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not if they stay there all day every day.
Yeah,
They'll get to where they make it.
You know,
That's the way we thought. We was gonna have to stay there if we didn't make it.
I don't remember what the percentage was or who beat me, but my junior year I shot like 80-something%.
Right.
And I finished like third
Yeah.
on the team.
Yeah.
That's what you're real.
Who was,
Extremely good at.
yeah, who was the coach at Horn Lake when we played them, our senior year?
Coach Weston, what?
No, Horn Lake. Baird?
Galen.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran into him one day. He didn't recognize me, and I walked up to him and introduced myself. He said, yeah, I remember you. He said, you played at Ingomar for Coach Ashley. I said, yes, sir. I said, we played y'all. He said, yeah. He said, after we come back, they had Player of the Year. Walter Mason was on that
Yeah.
team. They had
6'6".
yeah, and then they had another guy, Harry something, I can't remember his name. He was
Yeah.
about that tall. And had another good sized kid. And he said, I almost lost my job over that. He said, I come back to town, they said, how can that little bunch of kids beat y'all like they did? He said, we'd never seen anybody shoot the ball like y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, well, we just practiced.
Didn't we play with Duplo?
Yeah, ran over in that
That was the thing, when we got ahead 2 points with 2 minutes to go or something, they were kind of scared to foul us too. I mean,
Right.
normally, a high school team, you foul them because they go 50% or something,
Right,
especially when
right.
they're nervous. Well, they fouled us. It was just kind of automatic.
I was reading some stuff last night and against Bogachita, when we won state that year, the second half, we were 21 for 30 from the field.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's off the charts.
Even the year that we lost to Gulfport in the Grand Slam, y'all senior year. I mean, for lack of a better word, y'all played one hell of a game against them folks.
Yeah.
You know, we were like 70% from the field, 80-something% from the free throw line. You know, James was getting rebounds. Everybody was getting rebounds. But
Well, we just, I don't know. I think we kept it real simple. We didn't have a whole lot of.
Well, that was very KIS.
Yeah, we didn't do a whole lot of things.
We were the same offense every
game.
year.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get on the floor now, I wanna run it.
Yeah.
Pass and go,
Yeah.
pass and go around.
Just think where we would've been if we'd run different offenses.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, you
That
know,
Martell, I wanna keep it going.
I tell guys,
Y'all were very good what you're in.
plays don't make players, players make plays.
We didn't have an inbound play. I mean,
Just like,
that's.
where you going? I'm going here, you gonna do
Yeah, I mean,
that.
Springs
Springs,
get
man,
in.
A lot of times we'd stand there and I'd
Just
push
come-
you.
yeah, yeah.
I'd be behind him and I'd push him, you know, if he went that way, I was going the other way, you know.
You on inbound play.
Yeah.
Next time I'd push him other way.
Right.
I can't remember.
We had one defense, one offense.
I can't tell you how many times I threw the ball and didn't see nobody, but I knew somebody was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And he ended up with the ball.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly
hey,
right.
how many bounce passes did any of y'all remember throwing?
You better not throw one.
Mhm.
But I don't ever remember anybody making just what I would consider a bonehead play. Now, we played a lot together, but I don't remember anybody just doing something that was so
No.
unbelievably dumb
Right.
or something that was
against
just.
y'all's nature. Y'all didn't do that.
You told me one time you had to be careful what you told us because we would follow it to the letter. And there was no deviation from, if you said this, and this is exactly what we did.
I remember we played Pine Road in your 77, no, it was James' 10th grade year there.
Yeah.
Y'all like 11th grade year.
Barry Bell.
Fox Camp.
Yeah.
We were behind the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all got the ball back, down one, about 2 minutes to go. I knew y'all should sit up and wait for a good shot. I sit there and watch it go down to minute and 30 seconds, minute and 20, minute and 10, 70, 60, 40, 30, 20, 10. I said, what the hell are they doing? They still looking for a good shot. I was saying it longer, so I jumped up and called timeout. And I think we scored about the next 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what the hell you want to do? He's standing over here. That's a true story. Well,
I don't know that I ever heard you or any of these guys say this, but when I had kids of my own, I told them, the only reason you play is to win, and if you don't get mad when you lose, you don't need to play.
That's right.
And I don't ever remember hearing that when I was playing with y'all, but that's
That's
the
kind of
way
the
I
attitude.
summed it all up. The only
Yeah.
reason you play is to win.
But if you don't, one of them keeps scoring.
You know, you talk to people and you hear people that played the game. Oh, I hated practice. I don't ever remember hating practice.
No.
You know, I didn't.
I thought the reason I went to school every day.
Yeah, go to practice, yeah.
I didn't go to.
Try to only show up at practice.
Did that a couple times, got called.
Over at your house shooting pool.
Mr. Weed be sitting out there waiting on me.
Do y'all remember what we did for pastime at practice in the gym with no air conditioning, the doors and windows open? What did we do when we've been running lines? We stand down there on the end,
Comes out on the wall.
caught them flies and threw them on the floor.
That's right, yeah.
Y'all remember that? We catch flies and throw them on the floor and kill them.
I thought you were gonna say we all had a ball and we were throwing them in front.
Right.
One, two, three.
One, two, three,
Every ball
four.
game,
And I still think Coach knowed that. And he never
Hey, just so you know, I've seen him standing there in the corner.
Oh,
watching.
no. Are they gonna get him today?
I did something to Frank one day, and I think about it all the time till today. And I think, why did I do it? He was one of my best friends and played on my team. You know why? Me and him was out in the gym one day. When nobody out there, me and him, and he'd hold a chair and I'd run and jump out of the chair.
I remember that. I remember he almost broke his leg.
Jumping out of the chair, don't you? I remember that.
Yeah,
I said
he-
recess was out
He,
there. doing it.
he went for that chair and I jerked the chair. One, it didn't hurt him.
Yeah, tore his knee up.
Oh,
Well, we didn't have turns.
I know.
Yeah, how was you gonna tell them about that thing?
It wasn't gonna be the truth. Especially my 11th grade year. I mean, 'cause I remember I played terrible. I know all y'all remember. Yeah, you know why y'all put up with me and why he stayed behind me. I don't know, because I played terrible and knew I played terrible. Thank God for Frank Eddie. Yeah, but he started me every game. And I go in there. I knew we were gonna win in about 2 minutes. I tried to do what I could do. So I'd come out. There were some.
He just had to see if you were hot or not.
I guess he just had this. That was a routine I started.
Right, you're not.
Yeah.
I kept you in.
If you was hot, you got to play.
Well, that started my senior year. I did a little bit. My junior year, I never did get out.
He was hoping you'd get hot.
He
too.
kept hoping, but he
Well,
never gave up on me. And
That was something me, I never wanted to start. You know,
well,
'cause I
me and
was
you
always
talked about
behind
that.
y'all.
Me and you talked about that a lot. I said, I know you playing better than me right now. And was. I couldn't throw it in the back of a pickup. But
Yeah, you could
everybody
play
just
it.
kept staying with it. Nobody never said nothing
You could play that
about
defense,
me
so.
not shooting though, well, you was a better defensive player than I would. I remember you should have been a boxer. You had quit I mean, right in front of
These two right here, he was a very kid that quickest hands.
me and
anybody
Coach
I've
Ash
seen
was
in
sitting
my
there
life.
and Frank was guarding somebody right in front of the bench right there one night. And I remember Frank hit that guy 4 times. And the referee had known the whole foul.
But he couldn't get it.
He couldn't catch it to his mouth or let it play. And it's gone, and it's like.
Put in.
Well, and there was an art to hitting another player too.